And sometimes when we hear this message that there is no problem anywhere to be found, everything is perfect. Often there is something within us that just explodes in rage. Like, that's not true because of this, because of my pain, because of that, because of... Yeah, I know. But this voice that is claiming all of this narration, all of those stories, is part, as is, and it is inside of you. If you start to negotiate with this voice, with this energy, when you try to convince this energy, when you do anything with this energy, you are playing its game. You lose already. Because when you negotiate with this voice, when you try to make concession with this voice, when you try to use logic with this voice, what you are really saying is, yeah, I have to listen to you. So there must be something that you are right about, because otherwise, who cares, right? That's why the logic that I use is not a logic that is here to convince the mind, or to convince this analytical part, this individuality. It's a logic that speaks directly to awareness, directly to what you are, and what you are recognized it. And and say, wow, great, this is beautiful. I like that. And that's why the most beautiful practice can be to perceive this madness, this narration, this thinking activity, and to do nothing about it. If you don't do this, you will die. If you don't do that, your world will be terrible. If you don't do this, the world, the universe, my family, my kids, everything will go to hell. Maybe not. You see, maybe not. I assure you, when this body and mind will disappear, everything will continue. The madness will continue just as the same. So it's really not that important. As an individual, you are not that important, and that's horrible to hear. But when you understand more and more that this individual, it's a thought, and obviously thought are really not that important for what you are, you will understand how much freedom is in this fact. Because then your individuality is free from all responsibility. It's free from saving the earth, saving the universe, saving society, saving your neighbor, saving your child, saving your wife, saving the, your individuality is free from all of this. So happiness is in my own being. It is the same for every being that is here. So I'm not responsible for the happiness of other beings. I'm responsible for my own happiness, for my own self-realization. And through this self-realization, happiness will shine forth, and it will give an opportunity for others to do the same exploration. But it's up to them. I'm not here to convince anyone or to change anything. So if there's any question about this topic or any sharing, you are welcome to speak.
I'll say something if it's okay. I've been having some difficulties lately. Just well, I guess it's similar to what you're describing, where there is this impersonal, effortless being that just it doesn't have any labels. It just experiences. There's pure experience there, and I get the sense that that seems to be you know the true consciousness, the one consciousness that we all share, that is the basis of experience.
Mm.
I mean, that's my impression, that conceptually I understand this, and sort of in the framework or the story that I'm telling, it's like there are these thoughts, there are these other thoughts that kind of come in, and um, I, occasionally people will identify with those thoughts, and that's kind of the source of some of our struggles, myself definitely included. And I mean, there's, um, I like reading and watching videos, there is some kind of, there's, there's some kind of mechanism from which we can step back and not engage with those thoughts as much, or to have a different relationship to those thoughts where we see them as thoughts, and we're able to kind of rest in our impersonal being, our true nature. um and there are times where I feel like that true nature is accessible to me, and lately, it feels like it's really inaccessible to me, and I have, it's the same things that I've talked about before. Feeling of inadequacy, a feeling that I'm not good enough, that things aren't good enough. The one thing that I would say, in your opening talk, you were just like, we look externally and we say, oh, well, this is wrong, and other people need to change, or the situation needs to change. And for me, it just really, it's it's I f- the thought, or the feeling that comes up, is that there's something wrong with me, like that. And I guess I'm at a point in understanding where I can see that that's a thought, like that's a thought that I it's a really sticky thought for me, I guess. It's one that comes up often, and I think it comes up often because I feel, I almost feel like I can't turn it away. Like I feel like helpless in engaging with it. And that's I don't know. On some level, I really have a resistance to that, where I'm feeling like, oh man, like this is kind of the problem that I've been trying to solve in a way, and I feel powerless to solve it. No matter how much time I spend, trying to be in touch, or rest in my true nature, it always comes back in this way that feels just really difficult, or this, that I'm resistant to. And I just can't. I guess my question is, I've heard some of these thoughts, that we identify. They're occasionally referred to as invitations, where it's like, well, it's an invitation that you can accept and, identify with it, and have this experience of depression or sadness, or, whatever. But it's also an invitation that you could potentially decline. And I guess I found that compelling, but I do not know it feels like I don't know how to decline or disengage from this thought. Um, and maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way, but I guess I wanted to ask you if you had any thoughts on my understanding of this or the dynamic that I'm describing.
So I'm not I'm not good enough, right? That's what you say, right?
I'm not good enough. It is a little bit that like this is not good enough, but it's mostly I'm not good enough, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there is something in us that knows that we are infinite,
Yeah.
and that's where the longing comes from. It recognizes a part of us knows what we are, and this experience of finite or being finite, of having an individual mind and an individual body is unbearable from in the sense. Yeah. So what happened is with this experience that emerge of limitation, of course you're not good enough. Yeah. From that perspective, it's of course there is not a body that an experience of limitation that will be enough. And that's what happens. The more you go deep into what you are, the more you feel your own being, the more it will be unbearable to feel the seeming limitation that you experience as a human being. And that's where often there is this gap between the non-dual understanding, everything is perfect and my life is miserable and I feel terrible. And there is this kind of back and forth that is one or the other. And that's what I said before. In a way, at some point, it's true that you have to take a stand. And the stand is no matter what is seemingly appearing in experience, that doesn't change what I am. No matter what, no matter how convincing it is, I do nothing about it. I don't, you can say you don't judge it, right? And that's really the way by withdrawing the meaning. When you withdraw judgment, you are withdrawing the meaning of something. Yeah. So when there's a thought or a situation when there is this I'm not good enough, it's really allowing this experience I'm not good enough to really be there. But when we withdraw the meaning, right? I mean, of course, there will be a sensation of not good enough, there will be sensations, there will be perception, because often it doesn't arise out of the blue. It can, but often it's because you say something or you hear something or you perceive something. So there's perception involved often and thought and thoughts. So there's those three dimensions that arise and are not good enough. Yeah. Then good enough, this is some kind of judgment, but the more you can withdraw it, you can say, okay, this is one experience that is appearing. I'm not good enough. And I'm sure in other situations you explore the opposite. I'm perfect, right? And that's the tricky part. If you hold to the imagination that you are perfect as a person, you will never. I mean, it's the same attachment from both. It's neither.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel perfect. I'm a perfect father. I'm a perfect worker. I'm a perfect citizen. And sometimes I'm a terrible citizen. I'm a terrible father. I'm a terrible partner. I'm terrible things. But this is just the human spectrum. It's just part of this dual experience. But what I am has nothing to do with this. And hear me here very carefully, because it has nothing to do with me. When it goes to the bad, to the dark side of humanity, I I don't. I'm just witnessing it. It's like, okay, let's see what happened there, and we just go back to the other. And at some point, the more you disengage with it, you will see the less importance it will start, your human life will start to be. And things start to be very strange because you see, when you stop putting the judgment on human life, you are withdrawing the meaning, the judgment. But by doing this, you are withdrawing the personality, individuality. And you will see sometimes you behave from a, in a way, and sometimes in another, that doesn't make you right, doesn't that make you wrong, doesn't make you, there's no morality. You simply, this that is happening. Now it's watch and do nothing. You watch the thought, you watch the sensation, you watch the perception, but you do nothing. It's like, when you go to the, have you ever been to the movie theater with the 3D? Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone in the cinema start to scream and start to talk to the character, and you don't understand. This is just, it's an experience, and it can be a movie about fear or anxiety or stress or thriller or whatever. But the purpose is you stay quiet, you take everything in, and you feel what the movie is offering you. There's nothing more that you have to do. In fact, when you do something more than this, I simply take the experience in, you are a madman. You are just the crazy guy in the room. That really is very similar to our experience. When you react to this experience that is unfolding, as if you were like it was a life or death situation, this is the madness. That's why I speak often about those three dimensions: sensations, perception, and thoughts. I'm not good enough emerge. The biggest part of I'm not good enough is a thought. But you can explore it. But then there is perception and sensation. Okay, I'm not good enough emerge, or I feel stuck. This is again a thought. All of this is kind of a cloud. Let's keep making clouds and clouds and clouds. Yeah, okay. How does the field of sensing feel when it is not good enough emerge? Which part of the body is not good enough? And you go in, you say, oh, sensation, it's just the body, just sensing. Okay, you feel this. Yeah. That's why exploring what experience is, it's really amazing, because you will see when you explore, I'm not good enough. When you explore, when you zoom in, you zoom, you will see there is there is only perfection there.
Yeah, I mean, like there's this urge to kind of describe more, um, like why my situation is unique or why it's more difficult than, than I don't know. It's just a feeling of like, oh, I mean, I guess I'll indulge it a little bit, and you can tell me if I'm looking at this incorrectly, but it's like in my experience, it's just it's pervasive. It covers everything, you know? It's like I'm not good enough, and you know, I'll have these thoughts about, times when I feel like I've been mistreated, and the thoughts will come up, and I'll sometimes I'm able to just have the thought come up and then to let it go. But like the theme of these thoughts and this general feeling that something is not right is just it stays it feels like it stays there for a while and I have no energy, like I don't want to interact with anybody because I'm like, well, I'm just gonna mess it up. I don't have any energy for this anyway. And it's almost gotten to a point where like the resistance that I have is to my relationship with these thoughts, where I'm just like, I know that they're thoughts, and occasionally the thought will come up and I can, look at it, recognize it as a thought and let it go. But something about the volume of them or the frequency of them or just like the nature of them, I find myself like identifying with them, and I just don't know how to not do that. And so
Why? Why do you want to not do this?
why do I want to not do this?
Yeah, what's wrong with this?
I mean, I think that when I'm able to see the thought come up and then let it go, that feels appropriate. That feels like in line with this non-attachment. I recognize the movie on the screen as a movie on the screen, and I'm able to not do anything with it. And I'm just like, oh, that feels skillful, right? That feels true. But then, at some point, I feel like I just get caught like more and more as this sort of like it almost feels like the tide is coming in. It feels like this massive like cloud of
Mm.
negative thoughts or what have you. And then, I get to a point where these thoughts start slipping through the cracks and I start to identify with them. I'm not able to, or even if I am able to see one and let it go, like another one will come up and there's just this general feeling of like, oof, like of heaviness. And I don't know, I guess it feels like I don't want it to feel sticky or heavy in that way. Um, because then it feels like I'm the person who's, I'm the person who's going crazy in the movie theater, reacting to external stimuli in a disruptive way, you know?
And how does that make you feel as a sensation? Can you describe this as a sensation about this?
I mean, I would kind of just describe it as like a heaviness, just a lack of energy everywhere. There's a feeling of maybe a little bit of contraction in the chest and in the gut, but more than anything, it's just like a feeling of heaviness, of tiredness, of a lack of energy. And I don't know. It's very difficult for me on a practical level of like getting things done and feeling like okay about myself and my life and my situation. Like I just don't feel good about any of it. Um,
But that's, you have to accept, in the sense accepting the sense that you have no choice. The sense that experience appear and this is what need to be felt. And this is what is appearing moment to moment.
yeah.
And
I mean, I guess that's, sorry, go
at
ahead.
some point we use the thought to avoid the sensation. But often the biggest struggle is to be able to be with uncomfortable sensation.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, it is heaviness will never be resolved by thinking about it, avoiding thought or anything like this. It's about being able to be with uncomfortable sensations. And to repattern this habit. Because often there is layers kind of get stuck together. Because the dimension of the thinking activity will interpret the sensation that come up. So often if there is an emptiness in your body, it interprets that as hunger or sexual desire often. And if you look, the mainly addiction in this earth is food and sex. Yeah. But it comes from the wrong interpretation. Most of the time, the people like are wealthy. We don't know what is hunger. I mean, empty stomach. We just are. It's time, just a habit. But so there is there is the mind that make interpretation about sensation. And often what happens is like what I'm hearing is like there is a sense of a sensation of heaviness that is correlated, that is stuck with I'm not good enough. So there's something in your system that say, when I feel heavy or low energy, I'm not good enough. Yeah. So you see that not good enough, you see in your thought it's a thought, you see that's a story, you can kind of let go of the thought, but the bound between sensation and disbelief is still strong. And that's why you have to explore sensation also. Because as long as you don't explore sensation, you have explored half of the situation.
Mm.
And you'll see when you'll be able to be with this heaviness, you'll be able to be with I'm not good enough. And when you be able to be with both of them, you will see that neither of them are an issue. Really. And you can be sensitive to this. That's what if you feel your body, you start to pay attention and you will see that there is rhythm and you will start to catch this. I'm not good enough will emerge as a sensation even most. I guess it's up to you to really investigate. You see, you start with something as a sensation, and at some point, somehow the mind kind of kick in more and more, and suddenly it's about the story. And that's
And
why
so kind of what, sorry, go
okay,
ahead.
tell me. No, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I mean, what I've done in the past occasionally, and I don't always, well, is just to sit with the sensation and recognize. So there's a couple of, I guess, different things. Like there's the link between the thought and the sensation. Um, and I mostly am seeing the thoughts, and I guess what you're proposing, which makes sense, is that I spend some time with the sensation as well, and just kind of see that for what it is. Um, and then is there anything I need to do about the link between the thought and the sensation, or is it just one of those things where as long as I can see the sensation, then I don't know, that's kind of the work that needs to be done.
Seeing is healing,
Mhm.
and it has its own way and its own pattern, its own way to get unstuck. And this is very mysterious to everyone. Every system is very specific and unique.
Mhm.
But often when you start to see the problem, there is step that kind of supports you into some direction that is supportive. But really see if there is a connection between both thought and sensation. And you will see often there is a seemingly connection between both of them. But remember that the connection between both of them is you. You are your own presence is the connection, because otherwise they cannot connect without your presence.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you will see if you're more sensitive, you will see it's amazing how much you can grasp. And at some point, you can really see that a lot of our addiction and impulsive behavior come from a sensation, a very deep sensation of an uncomfortable sensation that is within us.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I said every meeting, I think, but and the way you get used to being sensation more and more is to be in sensation when it's comfortable. But often when it's comfortable, we forget, and when it's uncomfortable, it's too much too uncomfortable to be with. So that, but we forget because we don't want to do it. Because a part of us like our individuality and like the drama, poor race, not good enough, poor my past, my parents, the society, whatever, the past, playing the victim. It's a great tool for the individuality to survive.
Yeah.
Is it, is
Well,
it's not a judgment. It's simply a fact, a fact of what is happening. I'm not saying this to so we uh, to judge ourselves, but simply to notice how much we like to play the victim of our life. Poor me, but the me, it's the individual. Okay, right now there is a possibility to be happy. Right now there is no one that is impeding you to be happy. So right now it's your responsibility in that sense. It's your exploration. So don't put it outside, put it, within you.
mm,
And my guess, you can tell me what happened, but often you start to see that you want to be happy, but then you will see how much we don't pay attention to all of the opportunity to be happy that emerge within us. And you start to see very interesting things happening. And as there is space, I will add something. When I say feel the body, feel sensation, non-duality, often we say there is no body. So why should I explore the body at all? Because the experience of having a body that is a limitation by a skin and living inside something is the root of the suffering. It's the biggest stronghold of suffering and individuality. So when I say explore sensation at the beginning, of course, we start with the body. Of course, I'm exploring my hand and things like this. But as you go deeper, you will see, in fact, you go into sensation to dissolve the body, to see that when you search for solidity, you find infinity. You find that eh, you go through everything. So it doesn't seem like much, like you're in a park. You don't have to do yoga or tai chi or do crazy stuff, but just notice you're in a park, you feel peace, you have 5 minutes between two things happening in your life, two problems, because what else, So you sit in a park and you watch and it's beautiful. you see birds and flowers. Well, try to, okay, there's perception, beauty in perception. Nice. Try to also bring, oh, this, how does beauty feel in sensing? And you will see that how difficult it seems so difficult at the beginning. It seemed like nothing, right? Yeah, but there's nothing, my problems. But yeah, I know, but because this is exactly, this is the distraction, right? Don't look at sensation. Go, go read books on duality, do this, do that. Don't look at your sensation. Don't look at your experience directly because there's nothing there, go somewhere else. But looking at your direct experience can be looking at thoughts, it can be looking at the movement of your hand, just feeling your hand moving in space. Yeah. And the mind goes, yeah, but this is a meeting, I have to do something, I have to teach something. Yeah, maybe, but this is just sensation. What is wrong with this sensation right now? What is inadequate with this sensation right now? Nothing. Can be painful, can be uncomfortable, or pleasant, or expensive, but nothing is inadequate. Nothing is not good enough or not enough. It's simply, this is it. This is sensing. This is your experience. And this is infinity.
So there's a question that comes up for me because, I've just noticed the last 2 nights, I've had a really difficult time sleeping because of these what feel like intrusive thoughts. Um, and when that comes up, I mean, automatically I just like will put on some, meditation videos or like non-duality talks and like I'll listen to those because it's a way of avoiding this rumination. But that it also sounds kind of like distraction. Like that sounds like what you're saying because the thoughts are uncomfortable and I imagine the sensations are probably also uncomfortable. This is my way to like stay oriented to, impersonal, um, effortless being is just to like recognize that it's there. But um, there is I'm wary that there's an element of escapism to it as well. And so I guess, you know, I can try to sit with the sensations there, but my worry is that I'll get tied back into thoughts or I'll start to engage with the thoughts again. And I don't know. Yeah, there's a part of me that is just not sure what, if anything, is going to be productive?
This very thought of worry and this very thought of being productive is
Yeah.
the activity of thinking. And
Yes.
that's why the approach I'm offering you is exactly what your mind don't want to do. When you go to bed, you go to bed to die. When you go to bed, you have done everything that you could for society, for your family, for your friends, for your partner, for this body. You did everything you could have done, right? Of course, it's never enough. This is never nothing is enough here. That's just life. So just go to bed and you die. Really, you allow yourself to, you know, dying. Imagine that you die, and there is a whole meditation just about this, but you can really imagine that you die, and what is the last thing that you do? It's an exhale, right? It's like done. It's like whatever. It's done. It's finished. To me, it's over. And right. So try to bring the sensation of death, but not the death of a some kind of horrible thing, but just as that, like the ultimate relaxation, right? Like just it's over. So you go to bed and you just let everything go. And if it's supportive, you can imagine that you go through different layers. And the first layer that you let go is thoughts. Then you close your eyes and you kind of let go of hearing. So you let go of perceptions. And then the last layer is sensing. And you go deep into sensing. You feel the bed, the posture, sensation, the positioning of the body. You feel sensing, feel sensing, feel sensing. And it doesn't matter. You say, okay, if I stay 2 hours, I will stay 2 hours just sensing. And at some point, you will see everything will disappear. And that's the exact same process with the birth, with embryon. There is sensing, perception, and thoughts. And that's why when you go to bed, you go to die because thought disappear, perception disappear, sensation disappear. So every time you go to bed, you are doing the opposite path of birth. That's why every time you go to bed, you die. And every morning, sensation appear, perception appear, and thought appear. But often it's so fast that we are so insensitive that we are just in thought. If you pay attention, it comes up by layers, which is a way of speaking and to be supportive. Yeah. That's why thoughts are very agitated. You have going into sensing. It's really great. And whenever
Yeah,
you are
that's
you have
been
and whenever you have a sense of time, that is because you're still in there is some taste of thoughts around. There's nothing to fight, nothing to fight. You simply to notice.
yeah. I think it just comes down to like I still have just so much feels like there's so much resistance to letting go of the thoughts. And then there's resistance to not being able to do that too. Like there's frustration because I can't do that.
Yeah, because you are not the one that have to let it go, and you are not the one resisting it.
Mm,
Like, well, that's what I said about the movie. When you make the thought an issue, that's the real issue. It's not really the thought. It's something that is, I have to do something about it. I have to do something about it. You are saying thought is powerful. And when you say this, you are powerless. It's over. Whatever you do, because thought, the ability of thought, the power of of the hypnotic power of thought, it's almost absolute. So when you engage with it, you are over. It's like, if you go to a magic trick or some kind of thing like that, if you say, yes, I want to go on stage, you will be fooled. No matter what you do, this is his job. You will look stupid and you will not understand anything. This is it. And the only way you can, I mean, win is not appropriate, but but win is not to engage. Do you want to go on stage? I don't want to go on stage. But you will be forced to be on stage. This is what happened. I'm forced and thought. You go on stage and say, I don't care. I do this, this happens. I I'm not interested. Oh yeah, you did this, and this one is cut in two, and this object is there, and then there's a bird flying, and then the bird going to fire. So okay, it doesn't mean anything, and people are laughing, not laughing at you, at this, at that. I don't care. I don't. All of this is meaningless to me, and this is how you get free by engaging. If you can, you just watch, and if you are in the stage. Well, you will be fool. You will be the fool. So who cares, how and when and just the disengagement is not about trying to stop the show. The more you try to stop, the more everyone laugh, right? To really bore people, you really have to say, I don't care about anything. You can laugh, not laugh, do this, do that. I'm fine. There's nothing more boredom than this for the mind, the thought activity. Can you taste what I'm pointing to?
I do. I think that I can sort of get a sense of it, but the thought that comes up for me, and it's one that I think I believe is just like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to not care about anything. It feels like reflex for me to like to care deeply about some of these thoughts in a way that is frustrating for me.
Yeah, but again, this is the same spot.
Mm,
It's a sense when you care deeply about a thought, this is what you don't have to to take care of.
mm.
If I take care of a thought, it's meaningless. It's okay. Why not? You take care about Jupiter being a planet or not, because I think it was Jupiter, right? Or Neptune, I forgot.
I think it's
Was
Pluto.
Pluto, even worse. Oh my
Yeah.
God. You know that Pluto was a planet for years and now it's not a planet and all of this. But if you care that Pluto is a planet, not a planet and gas and this, it's fine. You see? This is what I'm pointing to. You have the allow whatever it's important for you because it's not really you. What you're really pointing to is to your finite mind. You're saying, my finite mind is important this. For my finite mind is important that. For my individuality is important this and this and that. And I'm telling you, this is what doesn't matter. It's like having a child coming to you and talking about his imaginary friend. It it really doesn't matter. What really matter, it's an imagination. So you can believe it's big, it's small, it's they do this and that. It's okay. So Ray can deeply care about something or not. It's irrelevant. But you say something, you say, yeah, I can feel it, I can taste it. But my thoughts say exactly, but it's it's something that is outside the dimension of the conceptual dimension. This is the awareness. This is something that is outside of comprehension of human logic. But it is nonetheless a fact and a immensely powerful energy. So I'm not saying to you everything is meaningless and therefore you have to withdraw meaning from your personal life. No, I'm saying the opposite. Because everything is meaningless, you are free to play this the way whatever makes sense for you.
Yeah.
So do not make thought an issue. If you make thought or behavior an issue, stuff start become very complex and suffering stuff. Thoughts are not an issue. If you think about a banana or peace on earth, it's really the same. But what is really important is the meaning, understanding where this meaning come from. Peace on earth it's a powerful thought, it's nice because it points toward the what you are, the, the source of meaning. That's why it's the thought itself, it's really irrelevant. Really, you can. It's a very powerful practice to go to bed to die, to say, I will not wake up and nothing will be missing in the universe. You know, bodies die for thousands and thousands of years, and here we are doing whatever. This madness still going on, and no one is missing. Sometimes I I like nature and I like trees because trees seems to have very long time and represent some kind of life. It's a nice symbol. But when a tree dies, what is alive in the tree don't die. Still, whatever, keep doing this thing. It's the same for all of us. If the body dies, what we are just keep on. But what is holding the tree alive is the same thing that is holding me alive. It's holding this experience in forward constantly. So awareness itself, life itself, is the one in care of everything and everyone. So David, which is a thought, which is an experience appearing in this infinity, do not have to achieve anything, don't have to save anyone, don't have to do anything specific. David, it's enough as it is. The responsibility of everything is on awareness. So you know, it's little ray, his little light that seems very huge. I assure you, it's not. It's okay. You let an ant being an ant, and and you let ray be ray, and you let the universe do its thing. And every night when you go to bed and you die, you feel the trust that you will wake up in the morning. So you feel this out. You feel this. I'm taken care of. There's something in you that I'm taking care of because you go to bed. You don't know if you will come back. You have no idea. Really, you don't know. You don't even know what's happening when you go to bed. But there is something. There is something holding me, and I am this thing, and everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Can you feel the immensity that is right here, right now? Can you feel this immensity? Can you see the shallowness of the individual perspective? How small it is? Which I'm not saying that you have to erase it, which I've just noticed how in perspective is very small. And therefore, I don't have to struggle with anything within that. It's fine. It's like an ant in your apartment. An ant very small. Okay, it's there.
Yeah.
So what? When you start to complain about it, that's where a problem arises. Otherwise, it's just an ant. It's there. These things. Who cares? Nothing will happen. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just right now there's this thought that it's just like this is impossible. Like this is something that I'm not gonna understand right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because this is an invitation to go beyond concept, to understand where concept comes from. It's more accurate. It's more easy because beyond concept seems to be something, like so very mystical. It is mystical, but mystical in the sense that it's prior to the ability of conceptualization. It is not outside your reach, because if you are conceptual, there is an experience of concept. The context, which is awareness, must be present to have an experience of thought. It's not impossible. It's impossible from the perspective that you are trying to engage with. It is not impossible.
Yeah.
And I sense that you feel it.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm
Well,
saying. Feel this. Stay with that. If you go too fast in trying to understand, you move it to conceptualization with it. It can be a pleasant experience. Oh, I understand this, I understand my this and that. It can be pleasant. I'm not saying don't do it, but the best, try to feel or the pleasure and the beauty of this open perspective. It's very, very pleasant. And it's very concrete. It's palpable, it's present, it's, it's here.
mm. I'm about to conceptualize it again, but it sounds like what you're describing is sort of direct experience without labels. Is that,
Mm.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is okay.
But
Sorry.
then when you're in that place, no, that's a sort. You see that there is thought that shine forth again from that place and conceptualize. Yeah. But there are
Yeah.
other dimensions that you can explore. Perception and
Yeah.
sensation. From that place, you can engage with sensation without physicality. Yeah, just like you explore your experience without without concept, you can engage with the experience without physic physicality, like without a physical body, and you engage with it instead of actually you are perceiving two possibilities only: thinking, what is awareness. But you are completely overlooking perception, which is music, sound, sight, colors, art, taste, and you can eat food also, but very few people engage with the cook a lot, but very few people engage with taste and smelling. But it's often sight and hearing, perception, and sensation. From that place, you will see, just like when you say, oh, I can see that there is a conceptualization arising. If you stop it, you are kind of fighting. you experience. Don't stop it. Just notice. Oh yeah, there's this shining force of concept. But what is very interesting, that's what I was pointing to you from the beginning, is but there is sensation. You can explore the dimension of sensing without the feeling of physicality, which is without the feeling of being limited. Seems very complex what I'm saying, but it's what you're already doing. Already know it's what's already happening. It's not about can I do it or not. It's about can I feel it or not? Can I be sensitive enough to know, you see?
Mm. I mean, physicality of sensation it's just another layer of it's basically conceptualization. Is it? I mean, does that sound accurate? Like it's just an interpretation of the sensation?
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
go deeper, you will see everything is thought
Mm.
because nothing is physical. Everything is an awareness. So everything is a pattern of energy appearing within yourself, which is a definition of thought. A pattern of energy appearing in your mind. But in this case, the mind is, everything, what you are. So you are right. Everything is thought. But you are using thought in the way that is the mental activity only. That's why I'm talking about sensation. But you are right. If you go deep into sensation, we see that sensation is not sensation. Sensation is awareness also. But I wouldn't go for too much into theory and things like that. It can be useful, but you need you need to feel it directly, and not only to feel, but to appreciate. Because the more you appreciate, the more you will see the alternative is beautiful. And this will call you more and more. I don't, is this, I don't understand, but I don't care because it's amazing, you know. And I can feel that you can touch it. You know, it's present, is here, is there.
Yeah.
You will never think your way out of confusion because thinking is the confusion itself. So there is no way out. But of course, the trap is thought will never present itself that way. It presents always itself as a solution, right? Always. If you think enough, we will find a way. But this very thinking is the confusion itself. So it's a never. That's why you're right. It's impossible from that perspective. It is what you are already doing as awareness. Experience is already your own manifestation, your own activity. And everything I speak, it's simply to entertain this energy. It's not about making sense, really. Many things I say, it's inaccurate in many levels, but it doesn't matter. What matters is what is useful to entertain this energy. This yeah, this thing is here. Yeah. And that's how and we should use the books or videos that we use. When you read a book, you read or a video, and you feel an expansion, you stop immediately and you feel that. You feel without forcing, without strain, without you feel it. At some point, it will just collapse, things will happen, and seem to miss it. You open the book again and you read one sentence, blah 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 blah. And so at some point, it will be one thing that will hit you, right? Or a part of thing that will hit you. Uh, awareness is all there is. Awareness is all there, and you go back and you feel it again, and it's just back and forth. Yeah, there is Tammy here. Yeah, Tammy, you have a question? You have the hand up, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to report and ask you before the time is up.
Yeah, I will finish at 10 today because my family is here. Ah, yeah, and before I forget, I wanted to wait, I'm just trying to remove the hand and
I could do it.
you did it. No, okay. Yeah, my family is here, so I will not. There will be no meeting for 2 weeks. You will
Mm,
receive an email with this information, just so you know. So for 2 Wednesday, there will be no meeting. And after starting August will be like, yeah, like usual Wednesday. Yeah, Tammy, tell me.
thanks. Yeah, you had told me last week a few things to do. A lot about
Yeah,
kindness
I
and
give you
stuff.
homework.
Yes, because I asked for it. Um, you had spoken about kindness and stuff like that, and also about meaninglessness. And yeah, I found it to be very helpful. At one point, I had stomach ache for hours and hours, and it was getting strong, and I was getting tense. And then I just heard your voice, and I won't do the French accent, but it was just like this is meaningless. It doesn't mean that something is. It doesn't mean I am a body. It doesn't mean I have a body. It doesn't mean there is a body. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with this body. It doesn't mean. And I was like, I just started smiling. I was like, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the stomach. It doesn't mean anything. And it just brought a little bit of relief, just enough that I wasn't sucked in more and more into the tension. Um, so, yeah, the meaninglessness part and just being kind to myself, both of those things were really, really helpful this week. Yeah, that the pain is just an experience in this moment. It doesn't mean I'm leading my life wrong. It doesn't mean there is a me. It doesn't mean like, taking away anything beyond that there's an experience in this moment. And just to be kind to myself with it and not constantly bash myself over the head. Why am I not enlightened? Why do I have a stomach ache? Why do I still think I have a stomach? Why can't I fix the stomach ache? In other words, I was just able to smile. The pain continued a little bit, but it wasn't, I was getting sucked into huge tension and stuff. So I just wanted to let you know that. And also, um, but then I had something with my eye the other day and I completely forgot the whole thing and went into a panic of like, oh my God, is this uveitis again? Do I have to go to the hospital? So, that's why I'm hesitant to report anything good because I feel like it's just a fluke and like, it just was a good day. There's always heaven days and hell days and like, maybe I'm not advancing at all. Maybe it didn't really happen, but I find myself, yes, being able to a little bit here and there, just not go into the same panic spiral, whether it's a physical thing that comes up or an emotional thing or bashing myself or not bashing myself, whatever you were talking to me about today, like about just, okay, so there's this in this moment and not taking it further to mean something about Tammy, about my life, about my body. I don't know, just not spiraling as much. Now, of course, to tell you that I didn't spiral all week would be ridiculous because I think you guys know me a little bit by now. So, yes, I'm constantly sucked into craziness, but there is a lot of those moments where I hear your voice or I hear thoughts that I've heard on these kind of meetings and stuff, and um and I just won't go down that rabbit hole for that minute. Which is my mind will tell me on the one hand it's nothing and that my advancement is so slow and I'll never get there. And on the other hand, it's amazing because if I save myself 2 hours of spiraling, that's amazement. Like that's better than any medicine on the market. So um basically, yeah, a lot of moments of little joys, little peace, little not get sucked in. Um Help, you're leaving for 2 weeks. What's my homework? What do I take with me? Because I know I'm going to forget everything and just get stuck back in the craziness. But what can I take with me for the next 2 weeks? It was very, very helpful, the kindness to not bash on myself and not constantly expect and wonder if I'm further enough along and all this kind of thing. And just constantly not yell at myself for every decision, for every pain, for every thought that arises, as well as the meaninglessness part. I just wasn't as worried that I'm not enlightened yet. It was like, okay, that's just a thought. Maybe I am, and this is just a thought. I don't need to believe that thought. And it was just like, I don't know. And then I would smile. So that's yeah.
Okay. Have you ever met people who pretend to be enlightened
How could I know
on
that?
Zoom meeting or video? No, have you? No, just the people who say this. Just simply, have you ever met those people who pretend they're enlightened, they're awakened, and all of this? Have you met them on Zoom or yes?
Um, I watch videos about people that say they
Yeah.
are realized or that there is no one to
Okay.
realize or this kind of stuff.
Exactly. Have you noticed that those people are smiling often? Except Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti, it's very unique character, very beautiful. Otherwise, most of them are very, they're smiling a lot. Have you noticed it?
Not so much. They seem pretty
No.
serious.
Maybe we have different experience. Anyway, what I was trying to do, but failed completely, was was to point that your imagination of being enlightened basically is you will be happy, right? You will laugh. You'll be, yeah, that's fine. Everything is fine, right? So whenever you laugh in front of struggle, in front of difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
this is the end of the road. This is what you want already.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want? What else do you believe that you will attain? There is no future. There is this moment that is shining forth right now. So if right now you are laughing in front of challenging event, challenging experience, what more do you want?
Yeah, I guess the mind will jump in. It was a quieter week. There wasn't as much pain. There wasn't construction all the time. So it was like really the outside that brought me in other words, it wasn't driving me so crazy. So I was able to do that kind of thing. And I'm worried about what will happen in the coming week, like the next few weeks or the next few
Yeah,
hours. Like,
you are worried about a future. You are worried about that the future will bring you trouble. At the same time, you're entertaining that you will be enlightened in the future. There is no future.
mm-hmm.
There is a future as a thought.
I guess any homework for like anything I could take with me for when I know, like knowing myself, the craziness will come back and the getting sucked into the fear and believing the thoughts and either very discomforting situations that must be solved about my apartment or noise or physical symptoms. I don't know. There was a lot of challenging things this week with health and of parents, all kinds of things. And I guess I'm just like, what do I do for the next few weeks? I need guidance. I'm afraid to get sucked back into craziness. So just
Well,
just what I was doing
the
this.
good news is that you cannot get more sucked in craziness as you are already. So you can chill about this. You're already mad, right? So this is the starting point, the bottom. You are the bottom. We are all here at the bottom. If you have an experience of a body, of any kind of experience, you are in the bottom, right? Okay, so this is it. So don't worry about going lower. You can't be lower than a human experience. So this is it. Here you are in the bottom, like with all of us. So you are entertaining a future enlightenment expectation about how enlightenment is, how terrible it is in the future, about your past, about your some kind of goal that you have to reach in the future. This that is here is the end line. This is enlightenment. This is what enlightenment look like. Now, you don't like it. So now, what do? Well, you have to pay attention to what is here, not the future. What can you see that you come here when there's issue outside yourself, you complain about the issue that are outside yourself. When there is no issue outside yourself, you are worried that they will come in the future.
I'm more worried about going back into my crazy sensations,
But there
thoughts,
is no
emotions
going
within myself.
back. There is this that is here.
But it is smart to assume it'll rise up again, right? Difficulty and pain. So what do I do in those moments? Just what I was doing
No,
this.
this very thought is the suffering. This very thought is what you want to get rid of.
You mean the fear of future, going back into my worst moments?
Exactly. Because you are, by ID, you are holding the past. You are using the past, which is a memory, an imagination, and you are making a future out of it. And then you say, I'm stuck. But the past is an imagination that you're entertaining right now. And the future is based on that imagination. So the future is an imagination also. And then you say, I'm afraid to be stuck in this in the future. But you are already stuck right now because you believe that this imagination is real. So you are already in your own in a hell of your own making. That's why I say you don't have to worry about being in hell tomorrow. You are in hell already. So be here. Notice what is here.
I guess I just feel like I was able to, by some miracle, I was able to like hear the words and have some relief this week. And I'm just afraid it won't happen again, I guess. But you're saying that fear is the hell, and just stop being afraid that, like, in other words, if so many years and so many decades I got caught up in the hell, shouldn't I like have more stronger like practices to fight it? Or you're saying no, just be here, realize it, and keep discounting and seeing how it's meaningless and take whatever
I
action
mean,
it.
you are sharing that something happened this week that you felt like beautiful, like some kind of expansion, and you laugh, and it was beautiful for you. So something is happening, and now you are kind of rejecting this opening with fear, with the 10 years this could not happen. You want to be free. You want to be friends, and you want to feel your own being. You feel the presence. And when this presence come and you start to feel it, you thought it's not about you can't be free, and all the story. This is it. This that is here. It's not 10 years of suffering, or 30 or 20 or 1,000 years or 10,000 or all the universe of suffering. There's a big bang is suffering for. So what? Freedom is here. This is here. There's no past or future. You can be happy here. You can feel this expansion right here, right now. And this is what has happened. Let it happen. Don't try to make it. Don't try to push it away. Let this process happen.
Right.
Allow it to happen.
Right. I guess my thought is just the one fear that maybe nothing really happened, and it's just the same ups and downs I've had my whole life that I've zero control over. It's just one day heaven, one day
This
hell,
is
and I'm not
thought.
actually.
This is the madness.
Mm-hmm.
This is the madness. So there is a time for it, but this is a madness. When you go into the past to justify something in the present, or you go into the future to justify something in the present, this is madness. No, this is here, and that's it. There is a tension in the belly.
Mm-hmm.
you have to pay attention to this sensation. Thought may say, I have this pain in the belly for 10 years or whatever. Maybe at some level it can be useful, but if you are exploring the sensation, this thought is useless. I have this sensation right now. This is it. Nothing more, nothing less. When you laugh, when you smile, you see the difficulty growing, the madness in you, you smile. It's fine.
I guess, how do I know that I'm actually progressing and it just wasn't a good day? You understand what I'm saying?
You want to convince your mind, thoughts, that you are progressing, but there is no progress, really. This is a game of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Your homework for the next 2 weeks is there is no homework, because this is the most horrible thing for your individuality. There is no homework. There is this experience unfolding, and it's meaningless, and it's fine, and there's no homework. There's nothing more to do. This is it.
So just continue what I was doing, not bashing myself and remembering that thoughts are just nothing.
If you do something that bring you happiness and opening, why would you change anything? Keep doing it. You think it
Mhm.
stop working or something happen. But notice that perceiving that things are meaningless and smiling is not doing something really. It's simply noticing, right? It's true, it is meaningless, and smile appear. I'm not smiling, just it appear. So it's not really a doing. Yeah.
For me, it is important to remember. I need to like write it down and remember, otherwise I forget and get sucked in. So
This is interesting. This is the sensitivity that I'm talking about. When you are sensitive more and more, and that's what I was talking to Ray also, when you are sensitive more and more, you will feel the juice and the beauty of feeling your own presence.
Mhm.
And when something is attractive, make you feel happy, make you feel expanded, and it's luscious and it's just tasty and it's just, I mean, you will remember because it's great. Yeah, so the more sensitive you are what you are, the less remembering you need, because you in the sense that you remember easy because it's very pleasant. That's the way you can put it. And the good news is if you have no homework, you cannot fail either. So this is
Yeah.
it here. And this is what you have to explore. There's no failure, there's no doing, there's no goal, there's no reaching, this is here. This is here. This is here. And the mind will, yeah, but last week, there is no last week, there is here, this here. Yeah, but no, this is right here. This is it. This is it.
Right. But I guess I need to tell myself this is it and it's okay and it's meaningless and there's nothing wrong. Like I need to tell myself that because the patterns of doing the opposite are so strong still. But
Yeah.
yeah.
This is what prayer is. Prayer in the ordinary term is to feel this presence and to let whatever is supporting happen. So yeah, whatever it's useful to you, let it come. This intuition, this divinity that is within you, this awareness will lead the way, will do the heavy lifting if you allow it.
The heavy lifting meaning will tell me what practices or thoughts are helpful and keep doing them kind of thing.
It's sinking back in what you are constantly.
Mm.
I like this image of a train. Imagine that you go to holiday and you have a heavy bag and 2 bags and you are struggling and you are moving around. And you're thinking, I'm struggling with this. What should I do? What should I put my bag and everything? And at some point, someone stop you and say, hey, you are in an airplane. So put your bag everywhere. You bag and yourself, you are all taken care of already. So you can hold your bag, you can struggle with them, you can feel wherever you put your bag, it's fine. So you can really just let things be. Everything is taken care of already. You are already in something that is taking care of everything. But if you worry, you can if you want to, but it will not change the outcome in any way.
Not about worrying, but about taking action to remember the things that help us not get sucked in and go into old patterns. No?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. If this is calling to you. But this is your own homework, it's not mine.
You think I shouldn't even think about these things that help me like stay out of patterns? You think just like
No, I'm saying I'm sensing that you have the tendency of I have to do something, which is fine. The problem is that you have the tendency to say I have to do something, and then it's good and bad, and then you hate yourself because I didn't do enough in all of this mess. So I'm saying do whatever makes sense for you, but don't judge yourself for what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's part of what
Okay.
you told me, to not judge myself. So like I have to remember
Exactly.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah, remember it. Take notes is very great. I will say this, and after I will go. I will have to go. Many people have many people. I don't know, but there's a lot this habit of meditating in the morning and night, which is great. But in fact, the most powerful meditation is when you do it very often during the day. I think it's better to meditate 30 seconds every hour during all the day than 1 hour in the morning. Because by doing this, you are doing what you are telling you. I mean, you are remembering. You are remembering constantly what you are. Constantly what you are. Every 30 minutes, every minute, every. Okay, thank you, everyone. Remember, there is no meetings for 2 weeks, and yeah, and I wanted to say that the online course, the registration for the online course are open. If someone is interested, you can write to me. And enjoy summer, and see you in August, beginning of August. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you, David.
Bye.
Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.